All right, well, hey, it's Mike Gowans here with martialartsgrowth.com. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the difference between hiring an agency to do your martial arts marketing or just you doing it yourself, you learning how to do it yourself. So why is it better to do it yourself versus hiring an agency, or is it better to do it yourself versus hiring an agency? I know a lot of you that own martial arts studios or you teach martial arts, it's the problem, right? It's the question like, how do I get new members into my studio? What's the best way to attract new students? How can I grow my gym? And then you go out there online and first off, there's really not a lot of information about how to do that. But the information you do find is you see these different agencies, these different people that are going to supposedly do it for you. And is that the better way to do it? What are the big differences there? So what I've created here, we're going to jump on my computer. I've got a quick little slideshow. It's going to be showing you the pros and cons of doing it yourself, or the pros and cons of having somebody do it for you. And then I'm going to give you the 5 core things that you need to think about when it comes to doing your marketing and getting new members into your gym and into your studio. So let's go ahead and jump over there, and I'll just walk you through that. It's going to be definitely worth your time if you're wanting to know, should I hire somebody to help me do it, or should I do it myself? And what do I need to pay attention to as a karate gym owner or a martial arts studio owner or a dojo? How do I get people in there? So we're going to answer that question. Let's jump onto the computer right now and check that out. All right, so we're here at the computer, and I'm going to go through this slideshow with you quickly, keeping it real simple for you. But if you're a martial arts instructor and you're wondering, is hiring a martial arts marketing agency worth it? Or can I just do it myself? Which one is better? This is the perfect presentation for you. In order to understand this, though, we have to understand what inbound marketing is and a few of those things. So the problem you might have is, well, I don't know how to attract my new students, my new clients into my dojo, into my studio, my martial arts gym. How do I get them in here without doing hand-to-hand combat, if you will, like going out there door to door or putting up flyers or doing the old type of traditional marketing? Nothing wrong with it. There's just a better way, more efficient way. You can do less and get more. That's what we're going to talk about here. But if you don't know how to do these things, what do you do? Do you hire an agency? Do you figure it out yourself? What do you do? Well, first off, what is inbound marketing? In the simplest terms ever, it's you're using content like videos and different types of pictures that you would put up with some text, basically addressing your customers, what they're after, what problem they have, where they're at and where they want to be. You create content to attract them to your website where they become a lead, they opt into a form, they get on your list, and then you convert them into a customer. So in the most basic way, we're using information to attract them and bring them to us, and then we're going to show them how we can solve their problem. Just like this video right now, the reason you might be watching this is because you wanted to know, is hiring a martial arts marketing agency worth it? Your problem is you need more students. You want to figure out what is the best way, the quickest way, the easiest way, the smartest way to go about that so I don't lose my money, lose my time, go through a bunch of stress. And so that's how you found this video. Once in inbound marketing, once you turn them into a customer, your goal is to get them to become raving customers, basically become fans or advocates. So they go out there and refer people to you. Inbound marketing basically consists of having landing pages, list building forms where people can opt in and get on your list and start learning more about you, email marketing. We use social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, things like that to bring people into our sphere if they're out there on those channels and they see your post about how to defend yourself, or if they're looking for a way to learn self-defense, or maybe they want to put their wife in karate or something like that, and they see your post and they hear from you and they see you in your gym, you catch their attention. That's a way that you're going to attract them with some information. We create some pictures, kind of like the one you see on the screen here. Pretty much everything out there is already built. You just got to go grab it and stick it on here. I did not build this graphic right here. It was free. It's free to use. I just grabbed it off of one of my resources that I use, and I put it on here to help bring some life to this. Pay-per-click ads, basically ads that are on Facebook or ads that are on Google or ads that are on YouTube, LinkedIn. People can click on them. So when they do that, you pay for that click, pay per click. Lead magnet offers. Somebody might put on a page, you might have seen this yourself, where it's like, here's 3 secrets to or here's 3 moves that you can teach yourself instantly with this quick video on how to defend yourself if somebody comes rushing at you. They would give you their email and become a lead that way, but that's something that might magnetize them to you. It's a magnetizing offer. It's a premium offer. It's a lead magnet offer. And then analytics, we use some tools to check, how much are we paying per click? How many people visited our website? How many people watched our video? How many appointments did we set? How many appointments did we close? What is the ratio? What is our cost per new student? We just got to keep track of those things, because if we can't measure those things, then there's no way for us to grow the business. So what is it that you really need to know in order to do inbound marketing? Well, one thing that you really have to have super solid in your mind is what your customers' problems are, what their desires are, and how they behave. Who do they follow? Where do they go to get their information? Where do they go to learn new things? What are some people they look up to? Because on, say, Facebook or something like that, you can say, hey, people that like this person, show them my ad. But you really have to, you can't just show them any old ad. You have to know their problems. People give you their time and money when you can solve their problems. There's no other reason people would give you their time and money. It's because they're in a place, they're in a current place, they want to be in another place that's better, their desired place, but there's a gap there and they need your help to get through that. Maybe they got beat up one night, maybe they got jumped. That's something in their mind where they're like, God, if that ever happens again, I don't want to get a black eye or hit over the back of the head with something or whatever. I want to be able to defend myself, at least have a better chance, but I just don't know how to do that. That's where you come in, you put some information out there. Hey, do you want to learn how to quickly disarm somebody trying to mug you or jump you? Check this out. Now you've attracted them to you. You're going to help them hopefully get to that desired place. They see that you're worthy of that and they get closer to you and want to know more. You also need to know the system that your prospects are going to go through. When they come to the landing page and then they watch a video, they opt in and become a lead. And then what happens after that? How do they become an appointment? How do you learn more about them before you get on the call with them so you can close them on the first call? How do you do all that? That's something you have to know to do inbound marketing. What tools do you use? What software do you use to hold all those emails when they come to your page? What do you use to create a page? What are the email follow-up systems? How do you use the pixel? How do you follow up with them using automation where it does it automatically? Where do you get their survey information? How do you do this stuff? It sounds crazy if you've never heard of this stuff, but it's really, they've made it so easy now. It's just click and drag. It's so simple. You got to know your numbers. How much is it costing you to get a customer? How much is it costing you to get a lead? How many people can you reach? How do you scale an ad and get it to do its maximum potential? How do you get students that are at a certain age? How many are there? You got to know your numbers, because if you don't, how in the heck are you ever going to grow something? You don't even know where it's at. How are you going to get it somewhere? You need to know how to think, not what to think. So many people are told what to think. It's how you think. What are the mental models that you need to understand about problem solving that can help you get more martial arts students than you could ever deal with? I mean, so many of our clients in the past, they got to turn the system off because they're getting so many leads, so many students. You got to know how to think. And then how do you do it consistently? How do you get it to not look like an up and down roller coaster? How do you get it to go up and to the right consistently? How do you get cash flow? Those are the things you need to know. So we're going to jump into what it is you doing it yourself, doing your own inbound marketing, which is what we call in-house. And then I'm going to talk about, having an agency do it for you. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of doing it yourself, and then the pros and cons of having a martial arts marketing agency do it for you versus you being a martial arts studio or dojo doing it yourself. So let's look at the monthly investment here. I've ran an online marketing agency for a long time. And no, I'm not selling you or asking you to, join my agency or anything like that. Matter of fact, we're completely booked on clients. We're not even taking any more clients because we're at our maximum. But I've been doing it for a long time. Lots of experience, lots of money invested in this, really have figured out how to do this. So I put this little sheet together here. It's on the very left side, it's the task that the agency would do for you or that you would be doing. And then in the middle column is the cost in time that it would take you. Since you're not gonna pay an agency, you're gonna have to pay in your time to do it. And then on the far right, you've got the agency cost. That's what it would cost to perform the activity. Now I can bounce out here and I can zoom this in so we can look at it a little easier. But let me just get this over here. Okay, so the buyer persona, I'm just gonna move through this quickly, but the buyer persona is basically understanding your client. You know, who are they? What's their problem? It's really understanding the client. If you know this already, it's not gonna take you 6 hours. We're gonna have a few questions and figure that out. To get an agency to do it, you're gonna pay about $1,000. And that's, most of these are on the low end, to be quite honest with you. You know, we've got clients at 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 grand, you know, to do things. So these numbers are very, you know, I just kind of try to put them on the mid to low end. Most of you people that own martial arts studios or dojos or gyms or agencies, you know, that you're dealing with probably anywhere from 50 to 300 students, maybe some more, maybe some less. So you're probably going to be looking at numbers closer to this. But for them to come up with content ideas, you know, if you really know your niche and your business, it won't even take you probably 3 hours. You just need to ask yourself the proper questions. But an agency, you're going to pay about 200. To come up with content, videos, blogs, different things that are going to be like what you're experiencing right now, to have an agency do that for you, you know, you're talking about for 8 pieces of content, probably about $200 per content piece. That's, you know, pretty in the middle. To come up with a lead magnet offer or a free offer, you're going to pay $1,250 because they got to create it. You know, they're going to do all this stuff. You can do this yourself, and you know, 6 hours is a pretty good. You could probably do it less once you get it dialed in. I mean, I can create a video, throw it together, and edit it in just a couple hours. But I really understand my audience and who I'm working with. This is 1.5 hours. This is just setting up your landing page to create a list, do all that to make the system work, to, you know, grab your new, you know, student prospects as a lead, and then get them to go into the next phase of it. That's what this call to action button and landing page is. You pay about $150 there. Email marketing setup. You know, you can do this in less than that time. Once you've got it set up, you're going to pay them $200. Then for them to put it on your YouTube, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, things like that, you know, that can take, I mean, you can do this a lot quicker than that, but that's pretty close. $500 agency do it. Paid promotion, 4 hours for you to set it up and do all that. You're going to pay them $1,000. Then you're going to have them manage it. Then you're going to have ad spend on top of that. So if we look at it, for you to do it yourself, and this is a monthly figure, you're going to spend about 40 hours. So about 10 hours a week to have an agency do it. This is mid to low end, price 6 to 10,000. You could figure. Okay, so your monthly investment as yourself doing it, you're about 40 hours. Once you get tuned in, it's not even that much. And we're talking about a month here. So this isn't like most of you work this times 2 in a week. Then to pay an agency though, we're talking about $6,000 for the agency plus ad spend and things like that. So right off the bat, you're seeing some comparison there. So you doing the inbound marketing yourself, these are the pros for you as a martial arts, you know, instructor, martial arts studio or dojo owner, somebody that has a martial arts marketing for your business as a martial arts studio. This is you doing it, the pros. First and foremost, you're gonna have control. I know just being an agency doing, you know, 50 plus different industries, the power of control and tonality and your ability to do these things yourself is so important. You get to control the voice, you know, the tone of your content, how it comes off, the style, the way it looks. You get to put your expertise and opinions and personality in there. And that's really important because when somebody's looking for a karate instructor or a martial arts instructor or, you know, Krav Maga, whatever, you know, when you're looking for that, you got to be able to connect with that person. And if they're looking at some kind of stock photos or, you know, generic videos that an agency will give you, it doesn't give them an idea of who you are. And you can create this quite quickly. And they get to really experience that experience with you, who they're going to be working with. It's so important. You know that too, because every time that you bring in a new student, they're all different and they all, you know, have different feelings and needs, just like what they're going to need to understand about you. Like, is this somebody that I can connect with? But when you have an agency do it, don't quite have that control. higher quality and more impact. So your marketing is going to be way different when you do it yourself compared to an agency, because nobody knows your customer like you do. Nobody understands those interior things like that you do, and nobody can unless they are in it like you are. Also, you can adjust very quickly. You don't have to set up meetings and figure out all this stuff to get on the phone to make one stupid little change. Your message, it's gonna have way more impact because it's coming from you. It's coming from your energy. You're the whole reason you would even think about having an agency, is because, I mean, you need somebody to market your business. The whole reason for you having a business is you can solve people's problems, and nobody can tell it and bring that across like you can. Also, I look all over, and if you've looked yourself as a martial arts instructor, you go out to look for this marketing, and I see it all the time. It's all these like generic, like, bad guy attacking a girl type stuff. And although that may work to get some attention, and I know it can generate some leads, but it can be so much more different when you have like one of your students there or somebody right there, and you can really make that impact. You can really touch them in ways with realness that these generic things won't be able to do. And like I said, you can control the impact. So when you want to bring it and enunciate and make that point in your content, you can do that. When you have an agency do it, they got to first figure that all out. That's going to take time. Then they got to understand you. And imagine like you're seeing some type of content or whatever, some kind of display or an ad, and then you get there and it's a completely different like tone or emotion. That's not good. So this gives you so much more control of the quality and the impact. Another thing is you can move really quick. As an agency, working with lots of clients, again, the thing that really makes things not work the way they should is, well, let's get a meeting together and then let's decide on things. And then, the customer, our customer, the client, they've got their idea of how they want something to be changed. And then the agency's like, well, I wouldn't do it that way. And there's all this like wasted time. When you can just jump in there, click, click, and it's fixed, and you see the whole project as you're building it from start to finish, you can take little tiny edits that would normally take hours and days. You can just literally go in and do it in seconds, and you get to change it in ways that feel right to you. So that's really, really important. You have full understanding, and you can really maximize your potential. You can really bring in the, movements that really help you get scale and really connect with your customer with your content. So you can optimize really quickly. If something's not working, jump in there, fix it. You built the thing from start to finish, so you know how to enhance it. And because of this, you can easily hire somebody to start doing it because you know how every little intricate piece works. Anything that you're doing, you'll look at the billionaires out there. You look at these people that run their business. They are in the inside. They know everything from the inside out. They don't have to perform it at excellent levels or genius levels, but they still have to have a really good idea of how it's working so they can identify where it's breaking. When you hand it over to an agency, how do you know what's going on? How do you know how it's built? It's so hard to make this adjustment, and yet this is the thing that you're doing to grow your martial arts studio, your dojo, and you hand this over to somebody. You really lose that potential because you don't know where you can move it quicker or make it better. Also, you can control your budget quicker and you can do it more powerfully. If you understand the optimization thresholds of Facebook, like how much do I turn it up to make it get the most out of it? When should I shut it off? When you know that yourself, you're not at the stress levels of wondering if they do. And that's your money they're messing with and your business they're messing with. When you know that yourself, you can get in there, oh, that's right. This is the maximum scalability here. This is the maximum you should turn it up. Here's how much you should spend per how many people are in your audience. And if none of these things are making sense to you, just understand that when you know the framework and you know the thresholds of things, you know how far you can take it and how fast. You can make things scale quicker because you can jump in there, boom, boom. You don't have to go through this rigmarole. You're more efficient that way. There isn't money just draining out. It's less stressful, and really, quite honestly, once you understand it, it's something you can look at each day in the morning, jump up in the morning, open your computer, look at it real quick. Hey, make this adjustment. You got these benchmarks and you can move on. So what is the cons of doing the inbound marketing? Okay, so all those things were the pros. What are the cons of you doing it yourself now? Well, for one, it takes time to understand it. So there's a learning curve, just like a new student coming into your studio and somebody that's never done karate. It takes some time to get the movements and the muscle memory built up. There's a trial and error period there. But if you have an online course or an instruction or think about if I go to try to learn, let's say karate by myself and I've never done it, I have to go out there and figure out all these things and piece it together and put it all together. But if you have somebody that's been down that road, if I went to a grand master karate instructor and I just said, hey, give me your instruction, teach me. My learning curve is so much shorter and I go so much quicker. And when you go to do marketing, the cons, they say it takes time to understand it. Yeah, it does. But if somebody's already got pre-made templates and tools, that changes everything. When somebody has all the instructions laid out and you just literally got to go do them, boom, it's so much better. When I can go talk to an instructor or I can watch an instructor and he says, okay, do this, do that. I'm learning it right there. Boom, boom, boom. It lowers that curve versus me trying to figure it all out myself. Okay. They say you're limited, by your knowledge and experience. Well, that's true. But again, not if you have the right guidelines, the right templates, and if you have, support where you can say, hey, what do I do here? How does this work? It changes all of that. So, being limited by your knowledge and experience, really, that doesn't really exist if you have somebody that can guide you. But, a lot of people look at things like this and you have to. So you may be distracted from what you're doing, right? So you're like, well, I'm really good at, teaching karate or teaching martial arts or teaching kung fu or teaching, Muay Thai or whatever. Yeah, that's true. And if you got to go do this marketing thing over here for your business, it takes you away from doing that. But it may take some time and energy to get this created and set up. But once you do, then you can just easily just schedule it into your day. And when you know what to do, then it's just get in there and do it. And it gets quicker and quicker and quicker. The real big thing about understanding your own marketing for your own dojo is when you do it, it helps you understand the whole gamut of the whole entire frequency from one end to the other, and it makes you a better instructor. You know how they got there, what they're thinking, how they're behaving to become a student of yours, and it helps you operate your business way different and your studio way different. And once you really dial it in, you just teach that to somebody else, just like you're teaching your art and craft to someone else. And then now you have a team member in your business. It's going to be cheaper than an agency, quicker than an agency, and they get to grow with you as a brand. So those are the pros and cons of doing it yourself. Let's take a look at the pros and cons of hiring a martial arts marketing agency. So these are the pros. Well, you get a team of specialized experts working for you. At times it could be just one person doing it. You might have that one person that you hired and they're a one-man agency. I know because I've done that. And they might be up to their chin in work. They might be completely overloaded with work. I know because I've been there. I couldn't help my clients the way I wanted to because I had so much work piled on. Then time it takes. So time it takes to help them understand your business, the time that you take to do that right there, I'll just go ahead and fix this real quick, sorry. The time it takes for you to, see how quick you can do that when you do it yourself? I would have had to call somebody and be like, hey, time is in there twice. You made a error with your typing, and I'd had to think how long that would have taken just to have that changed. Do you see the difference right away? So by time it takes you to tell them what to do and all this stuff and pay them to do that, you could have just done it yourself, just like I did. I've got this little graphic here, trust us, we're experts. I put that there because it's like a doctor on the screen telling you, how to be healthy, and he's sitting there smoking. They may tell you that they're experts and they may tell you that they know all this stuff, and they really don't, and it can cost you big time. But if you don't know anything about it, then you're kind of stuck there. But if you do know more about it, then you can listen to them and say, I know how this works. I don't think that's probably the best idea. And you can sniff out somebody that might just be brand new and trying to figure it out. And that way you don't lose out on a bunch of money and time and possibly could ruin your brand. Okay, another pro of having an agency, a martial arts marketing agency. Your marketing gets set up and running faster. Okay, so let's say that they can get everything up and running in 5 hours versus your 10 hours. So in this time that they get it up quicker, you're also handing over the trust of your business to these people. And I like this quote here: the difference between successful people and very successful people is that the very successful people say no to almost everything. It's really key to know what to say no to. Does it really make sense paying somebody that money and giving them all the trust of everything in your business for 5 hours that you could, once you get it dialed in and automated, you could just do it yourself and it would be way less than even 5 hours? And I put this graphic on here: speed versus velocity. So the difference between speed and velocity. Velocity and speed are different things. Speed is the distance traveled over time. I can run around in circles with a lot of speed and cover several miles not going anywhere. But velocity measures displacement. It's actually direction, right? So it's much better to be focused and to understand how fast you can move versus, the speed of getting this all set up and things like that. So just hopefully this is resonating with you to understand that. But these are the pros of hiring an agency. They say your marketing gets up and running faster. You'll have more time to do what you do best. So the question here is, yeah, that may be true. You might have an extra 5 hours over the course of a month, but would you rather put in a bit more time and then have bigger and better results? Or, learn the craft that's like incredibly vital to the growth of your dojo, the growth of your martial arts business, and then train someone who can grow with your brand to do that? Or do you want to just send that out to somebody, let them do it so you can gain a couple hours here and there? You really got to understand that, because you go sending that out, and then as your business grows and everything like that, if it grows, if they actually pull it off, you're always kind of dependent on them, and then who knows what could happen, right? And then you're sunk. So just think about the pros that they're trying to share with you here. And again, I am an agency. Like, if anything, I'm talking crap on myself here. I just know how the agency model works. You'll be delegating instead of executing. Okay, well, you'll be delegating all these tasks of marketing out to this agency. They say that's the pros of it. Well, would you rather have to take the time to tell someone how to do it and hope they get it right, and then wait for that back and forth? Or would it be better just to jump in the game, execute it yourself, do the thing real quick, and then get a team member that can learn the ropes and grow with you? It's not, once you get this set up, once you understand the system and the movements, it's not this crazy, mental block that you might have. Just like somebody that comes in and they don't know anything about, the kata or the forms or anything like that with karate, but once they get that understanding in there, they're there, they have it, and it's not this big daunting thing. So what are the cons of hiring a martial arts marketing agency? Well, it's expensive. You're going to pay them a ton more than you would hiring somebody and showing them how to do it after you've learned how to do it, or hiring somebody and giving them a course or something that they can take and learn how to do it for you. That's huge. It's super huge, and the benefit there is you're right there to make those quick changes. Also, one thing that's important, we never did this, but I've seen a lot of other companies deal with this. They say, well, we hired an agency and they took all of our audience data, they took all our emails. They copy and pasted stuff from our competition and use that with us. And, how are you supposed to stick out? How are you supposed to beat the competition if you're running the same ads as them with your logo on it instead? And then they're using your audience, people visiting your site and stuff like that. They're using that to create other audiences and run that with your competitors. That's crazy. It happens all the time, more than you think. And then when you know the ropes and you know how to scale your own ads, that extra money that you'd be paying an agency, if you just would invest that into your own ads, you would greatly offset the outcome there. You would make so much more money than if you were to give it to them and let them run it. You could take that money and stick it into your own ads and use that as investment into your pay-per-click ads and driving your message out into the marketplace, and you would it would be a drastic difference. They're putting the voice into your ads. If you have somebody doing your videos or doing your writing or doing all that stuff for you, it might not sound anything like you. I was working with one client and he wanted me to do his, copy or, his copywriting. I was writing the content for his ads. I was creating the videos and doing the different voiceovers. We were hiring people to do all that stuff. And he's like, dude, that's not even how I feel and think. He's like, that's not necessarily what we want. And then this whole thing, we had to restart, rebuild, and there was a lot of cost problems there. And so that's what happens when you go to an agency. You're saying, all right, here, we just want more karate students. We want more Muay Thai boxing students. We want more martial arts students and clients in our gym and our dojos. And then you're just like handing it off to them and hoping like for this miracle thing. And then they create these different videos, maybe they're stock photos and generic, which people just kind of glaze over because they got like blindness to that. And they could put an impression out there that doesn't look good, and it like Will Rogers says, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. They might think of your name brand or your logo or anything with you. If they see some like crazy thing, they might go, remember that weird crazy thing they did? I don't know about that place. Maybe we should go to this other one. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. So very bad that you'd be putting the voice of your company in the hands of somebody that, first off, doesn't really know your customer like you do, but also could portray you way wrong. And then this is real common, but what if the relationship doesn't work out? It shows the agency just like crushing the face there of you, because you might have all this stuff set up, you might have all these things going on, and then one little thing could cause a problem. And then all that time you spent trying to show them what to do, teach them about your customer, they get all your data, they've been putting your reputation out there. All this stuff just comes to a halt because there was some kind of personal thing that happened between you, didn't connect, or their idea didn't align with yours. And who knows how there's so many things. How a relationship can get out of hand quick, but they can just drop you, or you can just drop them, and then you're set there. And that your sanity and your stress levels, if you're all freaking out and losing money and doing all that, how are you supposed to do your job properly? But when you can do it all yourself, you're so much more powerful. Another thing, just because they say they're experts doesn't mean that they are experts, okay? This picture, you don't know who's doing your marketing. I work with clients all over the world. They never see me, I never see them, other than, their pictures, of their working with their clients. And sometimes our clients don't even have, it's not that type of setup. It's just crazy. You don't know who you're working with. You don't know their discipline levels. You don't know how serious they are. You don't know if they just read a blog the other day about a Facebook ad, and now all of a sudden they think they know Facebook ads. So how are you really going to know if that agency knows what they actually know? What if they're just copying and pasting stuff from stuff they're finding out there? In the very beginning, when I was starting to do this back in 2007, you were trying everything, trying to figure out it all, and you weren't even trying to hurt nobody or anything. You just were trying to get yourself out there as somebody that can help others, and you figured out how to do a few things, and then they're like, well, can you do this too? Oh yeah, you don't want to lose out on that. And then you get to a place where you're really not helping them. You're not helping them stand out because you're copying everybody else's stuff. A lot of them think they're experts, but they're really just learning, and you don't want to lose a bunch of money and time and your brand. You don't want to lose that image. One thing can really ruin it. If they're running massive amounts of traffic to your local area there, and they're blasting out this thing that has your logo and your name on it, but it's like awful and it's got the wrong message, that could be it. You've probably eaten at places one time and you're like, I'm never going back there. Or you tried something one time, you're like, I'm never trying that again. Even though it was just a slight mess up or something, or wrong people on the shift or whatever. It just never gets a chance again. So I want you to think about how important that is. And when you hand that out to somebody, you're really giving them a lot of trust. Just really think about that. So the summary of you doing it versus an agency, the summary of in-house versus agency, what do we got to look at here? Well, let's look at the pros. The pros of the in-house, you have control, you have speed, you have flexibility, you have insight about how the machine works, you control the branding, you have power with your ads and scale. And the pros with having an agency is you get a team of specialists, you hope, a quicker setup time, you hope, and you hope it gets to free up your time. But when you're, I am an agency. I mean, we've done this before, that free up time sometimes can be illusional, but I have to put it in there because if you do get the right place, it really can. The cons of in-house, you have to invest your own time. If you don't know anything about it, you're limited with your ability. Again, that can be fixable with the proper online course or the proper course, the coaching. And it's up to you. Your marketing is left to you. So that's that could be scary for you, but if you know what you're doing, it's not a big deal. With the agency, the cons are you're giving up control. You're risking time, energy, and money if the relationship fails. You're risking trusting your brand to not knowing if they're an expert, not knowing if they are going to put it out there the way they even said they were. And you're risking handing over the control to so-called experts that could really just screw you up. Like honestly, just mess you up and send you in the wrong direction. Okay? So how do I market and sell more martial arts memberships? You might be asking yourself, how do I do this? How am I going to market and sell? I see Mike, that it's probably better if I just do this myself, and figure this out. But how do I do that? Well, I'm going to give you 5 core elements to help you down the road of doing this and give you some direction, some focus on how to do this. Okay? So 1 of 5. You got to know how to set up the core system, okay? You got to set up that landing page and then the video page that shows them a video that explains why you're better than the other options they have for martial arts. And then, can they set up an appointment with you to talk to you on the phone? And then they need to set up fill out a survey. What are they looking for? Why are they joining a gym? Why are they looking for a gym? Why do they want to learn this type of martial arts versus another? Those are things, what is their budget? What are all the different things that you need to know to properly help them? Those are the pages there. That's the setup, okay? Let me put this out here. I'll even give you a little bit more help here. So if we're talking about this funnel, okay, then let's take a look at this system, how this looks, okay? So you're gonna have, see how easy it is, just drag and drop. You're gonna have a landing page, okay? This is where you are going to drive your ads, and they're going to come here and it's going to have a headline on it and it's going to address their problem. Then your next page is the VSL, and the VSL is a video sales letter. It's just a video that explains the promise that you made them over here. Okay. Then the next page is they can set up an appointment to talk to you on the phone, to get on a Zoom, to meet with you. Whatever that process is that you're going to do, you can definitely do all this online. And this appointment, you just put your schedule in it, and when somebody takes, let's say your schedule, you're open from 1 to 5 for appointments, and somebody takes your 1, 2, and 3, well then it just shows 4 and 5 is available. It'll automatically take that off there. Saves you a lot of time. You don't got to worry about nothing there, and it just pops it right over into your calendar. It's pretty cool. Then what's this? Then you have the survey page. You could ask them some questions to learn about them and really understand what it is they're looking for, why they want, questions that you need answered in order for them to make the move properly so that you can help them the best. And then you just got your final page, which is like your success page here, okay? So these are the pages that you need, these 5 pages. You can set up an awesome system. This system right here can generate you more dojo clients and martial arts students for your gym than you could ever imagine once you dial it in and you really understand your customers, okay? So that's super important. Let's focus on these 3 core focuses now. That's these over here in this red deal, all right? Let's jump back in here. So the 3 things you're always gonna focus on when you're building your inbound marketing system is, you gotta have the money. You gotta have money to do ads. You gotta have money to keep the business going. So that's what we gotta focus on. So you're constantly gonna be innovating your offer, iterating it to, you're gonna put it out there, test it, see how it does, adjust it until that thing is perfect. And you'll know when it's perfect when people are just setting up appointments. They're just setting up appointments. But if you have the right frameworks, you can start off and be doing this pretty good right away. Next thing, after you've got your offer, getting people to opt in and check things out, then you're gonna always be generating appointments. You wanna be always on new appointments till you max out, till you get to the most people you can handle in your gym. And hopefully you're learning how to get team members to help you bring in more people, because it's not all about the money. If you really care about martial arts and you want to get this out to people and you care about your art craft and what you do and how you can help people, you want to get as many people as you possibly can in there, which I'm going to share with you a way to do that here at the end too. As far as spreading out to more people quicker, easier. Also, once you generate appointments, you got to know how to sell the appointments. That's so crucial. How do you sell these appointments? So these things are the 3 core focus points you're always going to be paying attention to. How can I make my offer better? How can I generate more appointments? Am I generating appointments? Am I doing what it takes to generate appointments? Am I selling appointments? Do I have the right things in place to sell it? And you have to have the mindset so you're not getting confused. and quitting on this. And you also need to have the mindset so you don't get distracted by all these shiny objects. There's a ton of things out there people are trying to always convince you that you need or whatever. It's all a bunch of crap, really, and it wastes a bunch of time. The second of these 5 core elements is the client attraction and selling process. How do you attract them? How do you get them to know that you can help them? How do you speak to them? What's your messaging? How do you create that message? How do we actually get clients? How do you actually get them on the phone? How do you actually talk to them once you have them on the phone? How do you close them? What is that inbound attraction process? What do I put out there to get them to the landing page that we just talked about, those 5 pages? How do we get them there? What's that process? And then how do you use science to be more efficient and move quicker and convert more people? A lot of people, they'll do scripts and they'll try to use, fancy things, this and that. If you just understand how the person makes decisions, you understand how they think, and you understand that process from getting them from their current situation real clear to their desired situation real clear, and you help them understand that gap and then how you fill that gap, you can close calls with that script, just one call and you're sold, okay? And then what's the 30-day plan that you can design this whole thing around? What's the 30-day plan that keeps you consistent? You know what you're doing every single day, what to do right away. What is that? A lot of people are out there, they're going to tell you to do all these things. You need to post 5 times a day. You need to do this. You need to do that. Actually, if they're not talking about doing less to get you more, I would be really weary of that. The less you do, but you do it right, you'll get way more results and you'll have way more time and you won't be spending all this time that they say you need, okay? So here's 3 of 5 with the core elements. You need to learn the proven evergreen promotional strategies, things that are going to work when the economy's up, the economy's down, no matter what. How does that work? You need to know those strategies, because without them, you're going to always be chasing your tail, taking this next shiny object. But when you know how to address somebody's problem, how to create an ad and lay it out the proper way so that no matter what's going on, you can get new students. Whether the economy's good or bad, it doesn't matter, because you're working off of how they think about how to solve their problems. Learning the stages of your machine and how to know how to fix it if it breaks. What are the stages of the machine? We talked about the funnel there. How do you know if it's breaking? How do you know where to go fix it? You've got to learn that. How do you get new members using organic methods? How do you reach out to people on LinkedIn, and what do you say to them to get them to want to get on the phone and create an appointment with you? And then what do you ask them to get them to want to know more? And then what do you say to get them to come and become a new member? You need to learn that. And then paid attraction, like pay-per-click ads. How do you run a proper Facebook ad? How do you run a Google display ad for retargeting? How do you do these things? How do you get an ad on YouTube so that when somebody looks up different martial arts style, your gym appears? How do you do that? You got to learn how to do that. The inbound content wealth formula. So when you got all this content out, how do you get it to synergize? And I call it hybridizing, because you're getting one piece of content to work on all the platforms and bring them all to a central point where they become an appointment, where they become a lead, and where they get on the phone and become a sold new student in your martial arts studio. You got to learn how to do that, okay? Another thing, how do you put together the automation? How do you get this machine that's out there getting you new dojo clients? Once you get this all set up, then it's about paying attention to your ads. Are your ads bringing new people? Is your content bringing new people? How much content should you post each week? Do you post once a week, once a day, once an hour? It's definitely not once an hour. You should be posting once a week. Post one video and really address the concern of your ideal student. Really understand that market. Know how to search for them in groups and on LinkedIn, and listen to their problems and create a piece of content and put it out there once a week so that they can see you're there, they see you care, they get help from your content. Just like this content, I'm sure it's bringing you a lot of value. I hope it is. It should be, because I researched you and I understood what you were having trouble with. So when you create content like this, they start to see that you are somebody that can be very helpful. Put out some content. How do you disarm somebody? How do you get somebody to, if they grab your hair, what do you do? These little things they learn from you. They go, wow, this is cool. I can't imagine what the whole thing would be like. Can't imagine what their course would be like. If this is their free stuff, what the heck is their paid stuff like? What would it be like to have him as my instructor, my sensei? What would that be like? You need to know how to calculate your numbers. When do you scale an ad? And then how much do you scale it? How much money should you be spending per this many people in your audience? You might put in there Atlanta, Georgia, and then you might put in people that go to, Planet Fitness. You want to show your ad to people that go to Planet Fitness in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, well, you put that in. You want ages, let's say, 20 to 35, and it comes back and it says, 1 million people. Well, how much do you start out to spend on your ads? How much do you have room to scale that? How much do you pay attention to when it says the cost per lead is you're getting leads for $5? How much do you scale that so that it doesn't stop working, but it works just perfect? What do you pay attention to? How do you optimize that? That's something you need to know. How do you set your pages up to be automated? How do you get it to automatically send the email? How do you get it to automatically, once they fill out the survey, send it to you? How do you get those things to work automatically? How do you get the scheduler to put the thing in your calendar? These are all things that, we have templates for that make it fast, that make the results really happen quick. Because, when it comes to automations, we already have them set up for you. You just click a button and it's like, poof, it's in there. The scheduling tools, it's already created. You just click it and it's there. And then we walk you through it on the screen and how to do all that stuff. So this stuff may sound confusing and tough, but it's not. You just need somebody that can clearly, itemize it out and show it to you very easily. And then this fifth core element is, how do you do Facebook like a master, like a grandmaster sensei? Like, how do you do that? We can show you how to do Facebook ads better than 99.9% of even the really good martial arts marketing agencies. You've been doing this for a long time, 12 years. Those of you that have been practicing karate every single day, all day long for 12 years, ain't nobody touching you, right? So that's the thing. This is all that we do. We focus nonstop every day, 10, 12 hours a day. I mean, we don't do this because we have to. Like, this is a passion. We love this stuff, and it's all we'll ever do. We really do love it. How do you set up Facebook ads and Google ads? How do you create an ad period? What do you put in it? How do you put the head, how do you put the image, all this stuff? How do you find that perfect audience? How do you find your next martial arts student online? Where are they at? How do you find them? How do you know what to say? How do you track everything so that you can optimize it? What are you tracking? What matters, what doesn't? A lot of these places that they don't tell you to track at all, period. But then they don't track the right stuff and they waste all this time. How do you launch your ads so that it works with Facebook's golden ratio so that you get the best activity that you can for your martial arts ads? And then what's that daily process? Once this thing is set up, you're getting on, you're checking your ads in the morning, then get to work. It's not a big deal. It's not like you're just hounding over this thing all day. You pay attention to it, and because what we help you set up and what we show you how to, because we show you how to do all this. At Martial Arts Growth, we have our dojo client blueprint, and we show you how to do all this stuff, but we know that you're busy. We know that you've got a dojo to run. So we get this in there and get this out of there. How many clients can you really take, right? Most studios that are gym owners or dojo owners or martial arts business owners right now that are watching this, if you had an extra 20, 30 people join right now, that would be like, boom, that would be a lot. So what we're showing you, we can get hundreds. It's basically unlimited once you dial in your audience and you really understand how to optimize. And how do you retarget people to increase your sales and maximize your ad spend? They've seen it once, they're interested, but they just needed to see it again. How do you get that thing to do that? Where you go to Amazon, you look at maybe a pair of gloves or something like that, or some new shoes or some headgear or something like that, and then it follows you everywhere you go. You looked at some training equipment and now it's everywhere you go. How do you do that? How do you set that up? We help you with that. How do you get max performance from your ads when you're scaling? How do you know when to take it to its very, very limit before it will start working against itself? And then how do you use Facebook's algorithm to your advantage? How do you set up ads so that they emotionally work with the algorithm? How do you write so that the emotion is a positive emotion? The top agencies you'll even talk to don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. They don't know how to deal with the emotional recognition part of the algorithm. And they don't know how to prepare an ad so that it gets the most reach and reaches deep into the soul of where your next martial arts student is. they don't set it up right, so it doesn't get to do that because Facebook wants a certain emotion coming off of their ads. How do you even track that? What is it that you use to track that? So we show you all that. And that's stuff that you must know, okay? So we also do this like next level martial arts business and mindset type deal. This is a picture of the course there. Again, it's the Dojo Client Blueprint. It's an online training course that shows you everything we just talked about in these 5 core things. But at the end of this course, there's a place where you can go to the next level with things. And it shows you how to, you really love your art, you really love your craft. And so you would love to be able to affect millions of people with that. You'd love to teach 1 million people how to be effective with their martial arts. No self-defense, no discipline, know the proper mindset, know how to focus, know how to have more confidence in themselves, know how to stay in shape, be in shape, and how to not be so distracted. I took karate for 6 years when I was little. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Growing up in that age, it gave me all sorts of confidence. It gave me all kinds of feelings of, I got this and I can control things. And it was really good. And I know you want to give that to others, but how do you do that? You can only work with so many people. Well, at the end of the course, after you learn how to just get more students than you could deal with, we also show you how to productize your services. How to take what it is that you know and you've mastered and put it into a digital format so that you can sell it to millions of people. And, we teach you how to really think about your business from a service standpoint into a product standpoint instead of like what to think about your business. We show you how to think about it and how it can be converted. We also show you how to reach more people, like I said, with your art and your teachings. How do you do what you do for millions of people and never have to leave your home or your dojo, right? You like you see to the right here, I put everything that I know, all my expertise about how to generate martial arts clients and new students for martial arts gyms and dojos into an online training course that somebody can, watch 1 million times. Watch me as I move the mouse on the screen and tell them, hey, click here, type this, use this template, just fill it in with this, put this here. It's real simple. That's the awesomeness of the internet, right? Everybody has like a studio quality awesome phone in their pocket, or you could be even watching this on your phone, right? Like we have everything we need, and it's so simple once you see just where to click, where to push. But the cool thing is it's in there forever. And the other thing that's neat about this is, let's say that you take your teachings and you were to bundle it all up into a training course where you could take them step by step, week by week. Maybe it's a 6-week course where you teach them how to basically, teach them self-defense digitally like that. But what about when they have questions about things, or, maybe they want to come into your gym and say, hey, in week 1, you're teaching me this, I'd like to go over it with you. Or, what can you do to make sure that they have what they need? Well, like with our course at Martial Arts Growth here, the Dojo Client Blueprint, every Monday and Thursday, we get on, Monday, at noon, and then on Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time, and we just take questions. You'd be like, well, I'm at week 1 of your course, and you said this. What do I do there? We literally jump on the screen. We literally look at what you're doing. And I can tell you where to click or point, or I can get on your thing and do it right there on the screen. You can ask questions, and that's forever. Once you're a part of what we're doing here at Martial Arts Growth, once you join Dojo Client Blueprint, you get the live Q&A every single week, twice a week, forever, no cost. Like once you join the course, that's it. And we show you how to take your, maybe you're at the 5-figure mark right now with your dojo or with your gym or with your martial arts studio, and you want to get to 6 figures. Okay. How do you get to 7 figures without doing more work? That's the whole less is more. We show you how to take yourself and multiply yourself millions of times over, helping more and more people learn self-defense, learn the disciplines of martial arts. And that's how you can scale to 7 figures. So after hearing everything, after looking at everything, I'd like to know down in the comments, what do you feel is the better decision? Choosing to do it yourself or hiring a martial arts marketing agency? Which one do you think is better after going through these key points, these pros and cons? What do you think is better for you? And if you could put down there what the key point is that you're basing that decision on. What is the key thing that makes you think, well, I should just hire a martial arts marketing agency, or no, I should do it myself? There was a lot of good points there. Which one and why do you choose that? So that's all I've got for you today. Hopefully this helped. I know this was a little long, but really it's not. With the stuff that we're talking about, this is so crucial. This time here that you spent with me probably has have your brain just throbbing with ideas. But if you want to learn how to scale your martial arts business to 7 figures using an automated system and systems, then just visit martialartsgrowth.com and check out the free training that we got over there. So thanks a lot. Hope this helped. And I usually put out a video like this once a week. If you don't want to miss anything, hit the subscribe button. If you liked this video, hit the like. If you didn't, let me know. Put down in the comments, let me know what you thought about this. And I look forward to seeing you in some other videos.